Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome. Welcome to part 42 of our very sad series, Who Killed Libby German and Abby Williams? Extremely upsetting and horrific murders that have taken place up in Delphi, Indiana. Today we're going to be commenting on the search warrant, a search warrant that was dug up by the murder sheet. Again, kudos to the murder sheet, great work. Some really interesting information in here. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for purchasing my book, Discovering Lazarus, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of John Kelly. How I kicked the life of drug addiction, moved on to become an alcohol and drug counselor, a psychotherapist, and finally a profiler. Thank you all so much for your very kind comments and all your purchases. Thank you. Now let's get to this, and we're going to be adding to our profile today, the profile that we did in the beginning and years ago actually, and that we've added out there. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about Ron Logan. Ron Logan was the person of interest in the search warrant. Personally, I don't think Ron Logan did it, but I can't discount anybody at this point in time. This guy was 77 years old. He would be the oldest child killer or killer of girls in their early teens that I have ever heard of or ever witnessed or come across. At 77 years old, to go after two girls like that, coming across a bridge, feeling they could control them, and dominate them and kill them. I think it's very hard for me to believe that he did this. However, I've been around this a lot, and anything is possible. Okay, I've learned there's a lot of surprises in this business. Okay, I mean, we're in the psychopath business. Okay, and psychopaths can really surprise you. All right. So anyway, this is information that was gleaned from a search warrant. What I'm focused in on is the sharp instrument. We believe it's sharp instrument that the girls were killed with, cut up with, okay? So as we said in the beginning years ago, we believe they were controlled by a gun. We believe that that's how he marched them down to the killing grounds that he had set up. And that was all happening because he controlled them with a gun. Once he got them down there, he didn't want anybody to hear a shot. He didn't want anybody to hear a couple of shots. People would have come running. So he had a very sharp instrument, or a knife. And we believe he killed them with the knife. And that's something we've always believed. So that's really not new to the profile. But this adds credence to our profile based on this information coming from the search warrant. Again, we did all this on the blind, so, this kind of gives us a little confidence that we were headed in the right direction all along. The other thing I want to focus on is the trophy. I mean, in this situation here, we're talking about, I believe, undergarments being missing. Now, what are women's undergarments? They're either panties or bra, okay? These guys are known, and I'm going to call this guy a budding serial killer. I called him that a couple months ago. We've always believed it's probably a budding serial killer, somebody getting started. Because somebody getting started and doesn't have enough sense or enough brains or can't control themselves, doesn't have enough discipline, to realize that it's going to be very hard to control two girls. So he moved on two girls. Or it's a serial killer, somebody who's killed before, somebody that's been away, somebody that's been somewhere else, because we didn't have a whole lot of recent murders in that particular area of young girls like this until Abby and Libby. So I'd have to believe if it is somebody that's experienced, that if killed before, they were in prison or somewhere else, or we would have had more bodies. Because this is a very, very, very dangerous person, okay? when we're looking at the undergarments and the trophies, what we would add to our profile is this person is probably a thief of women's lingerie. Okay? I mean, he's definitely a thief of women's lingerie. This did not start, okay, when he killed Abby and Libby. This is not the beginning of his fetish for women's lingerie. This is something that's been going on and been going on for quite a while. All right? So, why would we put this on the profile? Is because we believe he can also, this is another identifier, possible identifier of who this person is. Somebody may remember this guy for being a panty thief or a bra thief, stealing women's lingerie. Lots of times this lingerie is, stolen from stores, laundromats, homes. Somebody might even remember him from college, stealing women's lingerie, calling him a panty thief. So if you have information on somebody that's been stealing lingerie, any way, shape, or form, off the clothesline, anything, I don't care how old they were at the time or whatever, in that particular area, that looks like and resembles Bridge Guy. He's got to look like, there's got to be some resemblance to Bridge Guy. Because there's a lot of people out there with fetishes for bras and fetishes for women's panties that have nothing to do and will never hurt anybody, okay? But this particular guy has to look like Bridge Guy, has to have something similar. There has to be similarities with Bridge Guy. This guy's a killer, okay, with a fetish for women's undergarments as far as we're concerned. And somebody may know him. He may have been described and known of and made fun of, earlier, a lot earlier in life. The other thing we gleaned from the search warrant was that they were interested in computers, storage devices, iPads, devices of different types. And again, we felt that this was a very visually oriented guy right from the beginning. So this is no surprise to us. I think we even may have mentioned that this guy would definitely be focused on, having a souvenir in that case as well. Something he could look at, something he could visualize and relive the moment. Maybe the undergarments are enough, but with technology these days, I would not be a bit surprised if this guy, made a video of the girl's death and his sexual dominance and conquest over them. Because that's the way these guys think, and they get off on that, and, they're constantly going over it, all right? The other thing is something we've talked about before, but maybe not specifically in these words. These guys suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, okay? Lots of times. And the way the obsession goes is the way they evolve. The way they evolve is really obsessing over the victim. And usually that happens through the fantasy, as we've talked about. It starts with the fantasy. So this guy's fantasizing girls. He's fantasizing, their undergarments. That's all part of it. That's his fetish. These guys all have fetishes. If you want to search serial killers and look into fetishes, you'll find it all. Pretty much every one of them has a fetish. They have their own kink that they're into, right? So anyway, this guy's obsessive compulsive disorder would be more or less focused on, evolving. And the way he would evolve, he'd start with the fantasy, fantasize his prey, his particular physical characteristics of a certain girl. Then the fantasy usually leads to the voyeurism, okay? Most of these guys are into voyeurism. You look before you touch, right? Right? Don't you look before you touch? So this guy, he'd be focused on looking in windows, wherever he can. He feels a certain amount of control and power. I can see you, but you can't see me. And, You know, I'm looking to see you in different states of undress. You know, this is you know, part of their evolving process. Then the other thing that's going on when we talk about voyeurism, remember that voyeurism is not just peeking in windows and looking at girls. It's taking advantage of girls or women when they're, you know, in a state of undress. That's what he's hopefully looking for, you know. And you know, if you're getting pictures, if you're conning girls or conning people on the internet into sending you pictures of themselves in various states of undress or even completely naked, that's voyeurism. Voyeurism isn't just looking in windows. Voyeurism is looking, you know, period, at women in vulnerable situations, all right? And that's what these people do, okay? That's how they take advantage. That's how they feel control. Look what I did. I got her to send me this or send me that, you know. I'm really, you know, in control of this girl, you know. So that's very important, you know. So then after the voyeurism, then they move on. It's not enough for them. It's like a drug addict needs to continue to take more of the drug to continue to get higher. They get bored with the fantasy, get bored with the voyeurism. So now they move on to more sexual contact. And that includes the attack and sexual dominance and kill, all right? So it's how serials evolve. And I believe this guy's a budding serial killer. You know, that's just in the evolving process. Okay, he's just moving forward, and thank God for Libby German. Okay, because I truly believe if Libby did not video this guy, we'd have more bodies. I truly believe that. Okay, now I don't know if this guy's local, was just in the area, was visiting, passing through. I don't know. Okay, to me, I think he's very familiar with the area, so I have to believe he doesn't live too far away, especially the knowledge he had of Ron Logan's property and everything. And I really believe that, you know, this guy really had it planned out, knew exactly where to go, knew exactly what he was doing. And obviously, even though we have his picture, his video, and his voice and everything, he's still gotten away with it at this time. I think that's going to be short-lived, though. I think law enforcement's moving in on him. I truly believe that. Sooner or later, he's going to get grabbed. Again, Libby German, I believe, saved the day. She scared the shit out of this guy when he saw himself on TV, even though many people may not have recognized exactly who he was. He knew who he was, okay? And that put a damper on his future plans, all right? Now, the other thing I want to bring up, this is an extremely dangerous person. I mean, extremely dangerous person, and I don't care how old they are, all right? Anybody who would do this to these two girls is interested in trophies, planned it out that way, has these kind of fantasies and is evolving at this point. I mean, is a very, very dangerous kind of guy. And he's a chameleon. I mean, he can really fool you, okay? He obviously fooled these girls. As I said, I'm pretty sure he controlled them with a gun and used the knife to finish them off. But that's something we've pretty much, everybody's had a general consensus about. The last thing I want to say is, in the beginning when this took place, we had some people coming out and saying there was no danger to the public, or we didn't feel the public was in danger, okay, of this murderer. Well, I've got to tell you, I don't know where that came from, but I want to tell you this is an extremely dangerous man, okay? I can't emphasize that enough. All right, enough being said. I hope you got something out of that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please continue to subscribe. We love your subscriptions. Please continue to comment. We love to hear from you. I always believe, you know, 2 heads are better than 1 and 100 heads are better than 2. We'll always respond to your comments. And, you know, most importantly, take care of yourself. Make it a great day. Stay safe, and God bless.